So, hi Zen. My father insists I should talk to you directly from my screen, so that's what I'm doing. I have a pineapple, Mario, my Mario, soft drink. I have my funky monkey orange flavored still spring water drink. I've slept horribly today. Yeah, 75p, 115 pounds chocolate, my coffee as well. I have my coffee as well, always pink container. So let's set off. Was thinking I'm hold on a second. So I was thinking, what the fuck is it? Okay, well, what is wrong? I'm trying I'm trying to find the pictures that we were talking yesterday. We were talking about, thank you. We're talking about the um, Instagram. Yeah, I found them. Okay, so we were talking about Tolkien, right? So I've done 5. That's a lot of material. That's 20 screenshots, I mean. Anyways, let's start, I suppose. So, I will show some of the sheets that I have said. If I have, like, we will listen to the audio, obviously, but I will read what I have said in my screenshots when I was 18, and then we will go and listen to the audio and play fucking Mario. Okay. Now let's move on to Dumbledore. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Illustration showing Voldemort asking for a job in Hogwarts by Dumbledore. So, in the 6th book, we have Tom Riddle, Voldemort, asking before the first Wizarding War, from Dumbledore a job at Hogwarts. That's the day that he's jinxing the dark arts position that remains vacant for every single year that passes later. Like when we begin Harry Potter, there is not a single teacher that stays in the position the next year. He's always replaced. That's because it was jinxed by Riddle, right? So that's the story that we will discuss today. How it was jinxed. He jinxed it because he wasn't accepted in the job, and Voldemort, he wasn't known as Voldemort by everybody back then. It was before he actually began the war. We will listen to the audio. These are the memories that Dumbledore had collected in the 6th book, 6th movie. And it's part of the memories that you didn't have the opportunity to watch on the movie because they were eliminated. You only watch the Slughorn memory, where Tom Riddle asks him about the Horcruxes and the one on the orphanage. You don't get to see his mom, you don't get to see his father, his other relatives from the Slytherin clan that he descends from. You don't get to see him in the Hogsmeade, I think, trying to steal the cup from Hepzibah Smith, who is Helga Hufflepuff's descendant, yeah, same name. you don't get to see a lot of shits that happen in the memories, and if you read them you get more connected with Voldemort. That's why I connected myself with him, and I liked him as Tom Riddle. Very beautiful guy, very like very like attractive, but not only physically, he was also attractive like when you were in the same room rolling roads, you liked him, you wanted to be with him, you were drawn to him. My father says I wanted you to like the character because I was like, you're gonna have this as your protagonist. Thank you, Dad. I honestly, I can see that now. You get what I mean? My father says, don't say thanks, I'm your father. Thank you, Dad. So, uh, so now I am summarizing all the points here. The story, we will listen to that. It's about you have pushed some forms of magic, and I'm explaining it. Okay. Helga, what are you doing? Should I don't know if I can. Okay, so I see what I have done. I am wondering if I want to read the story out loud from now or analyze later what I have done when I was 18. My father says let the story play, discuss it as an fully grown adult. Okay, okay. And then analyze the screenshots from the um, from Instagram. Okay, okay, I will do that then. I will do that. So I will ask Copilot. I will ask Copilot if he can give me the. Can you give me which chapter Half-Blood Prince Tom Riddle asks Dumbledore for a job. I wanna listen audiobook on YouTube. Hopefully they have done it. Chapter 20, Lord Voldemort's Request. Lord Voldemort's Request. Lord Voldemort's Request. Okay, there is a video here. I wanna see what the fuck this is. Fucking advertisement. So that's there is a video called
Whose memory is it? He asked.
Lord Voldemort's Request. Dumbledore really read this one like a book, lol. Okay, I don't know if this is the story. Let's see for a moment. I'll close the camera for this. So, I actually found the video. It's a very good video. It's by Harry Potter Things. It's a channel. 581 subscribers. She almost has same subscriber number as I have. Shout out to the creator. The video is 8,722 views, 180 likes, posted 2023 12 of March, right? Yeah. So fan art here, the same fan art that I used. You can see that. You can see that in the video. They have put the same fan art. I don't know if you can see it. They've put the same fan art that I put for my chapter. That makes sense. Can you see it? It's here. Same thing, same picture that I put. They've put it on their video, right? That's cool. That's really cool. We're gonna listen to the footage. My father says I can listen, react. My father says react in big chunks. Maybe that's easier, or go into details when you find um, something that sticks out. Go into details, but stick to watching in big chunks. That's what he says. So general analysis, so we can analyze later what I wrote, I suppose. So let's see this scene. This was the parallel checks that I gave people, my Instagram that you saw because you logged in my account. The I I gave this video to this scene to that we will listen on the video to my followers on Instagram back then because Helga, what are you doing? I am unlocking for no particular reason sheets from other characters because I'm bored. Well, as I was saying, okay, I gave it to my followers because, in contrast with what Saruman did, as we saw him in the previous installment, the previous video, what did we see him doing in the previous video? He was in denial of his own sin pretty much. He didn't want to come down. He wanted to stay up and wanted Gandalf to become an asshole pretty much, as I would say, like him. And Gandalf didn't do that. He was not corrupted because, as he said famously, I didn't go through fire and death to exchange discussions grima with a snake like you. Do you remember? So he's uncorrupted, right? And Gandalf does the exact same discussion pretty much with Saruman. He tells him, I didn't go through fire and death to exchange discussions with someone like you, pretty much. And you see him trying to, let's say, convert Saruman into his ways. Like, you don't have to be like that. Become a better person. You still have the chance, the choice to change, to be protected even by Sauron and his wrath. And you see that Saruman doesn't want to do that because he is still full of pride. So the discussion that Tolkien opens there in his book is actually the question of if you can humble a proud person. And in my opinion, you should show that the proud person actually can be redeemed. I think that's the correct meaning. My father says thanks. But because I can explain, because the point is not to show that a sinner is sinning. Hello, that can be said by any religion out there, okay? I think that you are a master in storytelling if you can do that with a person who is in sin, but you show them that grace runs deeper. If the sin is deep, you go deeper with the grace of God. And I think that is missing from today's literature and art and understanding of the world, pretty much. Like, the world is having a shallow understanding of spirituality and of God, and they are saying shit that uh, any religion can say, pretty much. Like, Every religion can teach me that I am full of sin. Every religion can teach me that I am on the wrong because there is a higher being. But not all religions teach that grace abounds in deepest waters, as the song by Taya says. So that's really unique, and that's why I embrace it, personally speaking, because I think that we speak too much about how sinful we are. We don't speak too much though of how deep grace goes. You hear them saying, they will tell you, no, we do, you don't, because you're always only speaking about sin and sinful behavior. That's what I would have to say to any pastor out there. And they're speaking only about sin and shit. Um, I think it would be a better story if we had Saruman redeeming himself because of what Gandalf said. That's what I mean. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say here is that um, my camera doesn't have enough battery. What news? I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my equipment, honestly. Um, okay, I figure out what I have to do. So they have so many meanings like that. Like you have to be like don't sin and shit. Like be a good person. You get what I mean? You hear that. You hear that, but you don't hear that much that God loves you. That God is love. That and that comes from a person whose favorite book is actually the Old Testament, right? You don't hear very much that God doesn't count your sins. You don't listen to that too often, and that's something that is disheartening for me because I think that's the best thing with having my dad by my side is that he doesn't judge like people do, and that's why that's why I like that aspect in the stories, if that makes sense. But apart from that, apart from that, um, I don't know how I'm gonna do this honestly. So, in the story of Dumbledore and Tom Riddle, as you will see, this is the parallel text that I selected personally. Um, Tom Riddle. Uh, Tom Riddle, I'm trying to see what I'm gonna do. Tom Riddle is going to ask for something, and you have the narrative flipped. That's why it is a parallel text. That's why it serves as a parallel text, because you have a flipped narrative. You have Tom Riddle instead of being asked get down, you have the antagonist and the protagonist of the story, that's what I say pretty much, discussing as if they do in the Lord of the Rings setting. But instead of having Tolkien saying to uh, instead of Tolkien having Dumbledore to say to him, change your ways, he is judgmental, he is attacking, and he's being a nasty piece of shit pretty much. And I don't like that because that's not godly behavior. That's the behavior that Rowling exhibits in the world. And yes, even Tolkien outsmarted that. And I believe that as far as I know him as a guy, like I have studied Tolkien too much in my life. If I know him that well as I think I do, I don't think he would have liked what Rowling did with the character of Tom Riddle there. That's what I think. That's my humble assumption, because he he valued certain, like, he valued certain things in people that, if you ask me personally, I think show that he was erring as a person, but he had a good understanding of Christianity, of spirituality, and how people should be with each other. And I don't see that very often with Rowling. Rowling is not that good at that as he is. That's why I always say he did a better job for me in his stories, like in the topic of meaning, the meaning behind the stories. You get what I mean? So, I'm gonna put the video now. I'm gonna explain what I say with all I say. So, in this video, we have a scene, as I said, that is the exact same thing that we discussed in the Saruman story, but in contrast, you will notice with how Saruman is treated by Gandalf. Gandalf says, "Get down," and tries to reason with the bad guy, and the bad guy chooses evil. In this story, we have the bad guy asking and the good guy not giving, and that's alarming. It's flipping the narrative, and the bad guy, spiritually speaking, becomes the good guy, and the good guy becomes the bad guy. That's how it works, right? So let's start listening to the story.
Whose memory is it? He asked. Mine.
The younger Dumbledore seemed to be waiting for something, and sure enough, moments after their arrival, there was a knock on the door, and he said, "Enter." Voldemort had entered the room.
His features were not
Sorry
those
about
Harry
that.
seemed to be whose memory is it? He asked.
The younger Dumbledore seemed to be waiting for something, and sure enough, moments after their arrival, there was a knock on the door, and he said, "Enter." Voldemort had entered the room. His features were not those Harry had seen emerge from the great stone cauldron almost 2 years ago. They were not as snake-like, the eyes were not yet scarlet, the face not yet mask-like, and yet he was no longer handsome Tom Riddle. It was as if
Also, this thing that reflects in his beauty as a person who grew up in a culture that glorifies beauty and vanity, that aspect, if that makes sense. I don't like what Rowling is doing to the character, because I think even Tolkien got this better than Rowling. Tolkien supports the idea that a character, a person, can love richness, can love beauty, but not don't let it become too important for you. That's the meaning that Tolkien is giving in his stories to his characters, that don't let things like that become too important for you. That's what he says. And do I agree with this message? A lot. Because the problem is not the materialistic part, it's how you deal with it, with your soul, yourself. That's the problem. It's not the I don't know how to go there, honestly. It's not what you are doing with it. Like, if you like it because you find something beautiful, like you find a bag or a shoe beautiful and you want to buy it, right? It's not a problem. The problem is that it becomes too important for you. You become fixated, and you lose the good things in life. You lose that important moments of your family just because you care about materialism. because you might become greedy and you don't care if others are in pain because of what you are doing with your money. Like, you, instead of like investing money to help other people, you are investing money to buy stuff for yourself, for example. So that's a bad thing, and you shouldn't do that. But inherently having money and buying stuff you like, that's not a bad thing, that's not a sin, that's hardly a sin actually. And that's what Tolkien teaches in the story, that the point shouldn't be if they are important for you. The point is if you how you deal with them, and how you deal with them with the people you have around you. Like, would you kill a person just to have their possessions? So this is a lesson that Tolkien understands. He gets his shit right. He gets it. Rowling doesn't. Rowling has a hard time actually understanding what I'm saying, and that's crazy news. Because she's very old. That's the reason. You get what I mean? I have no idea how to exit this level. Honestly, I am puzzled myself. Let's put the scene, though. Let's put the scene, and
Right. And yet he was no longer handsome Tom Riddle.
yes, I was saying about this. Tom Riddle was beautiful. The scene. I wanted to say this as well, and he wasn't beautiful anymore because he was starting to turn ugly. That's very basic understanding of the world. Percy's, my character, becomes all the more beautiful as time passes. He still is a false prophet, he still is a nasty person by all means, but he becomes all the more beautiful as time passes by. Because the point of the story isn't that Percy is a bad person, therefore he has to become ugly. The point of the story is that what you are outside doesn't matter with that. It is not the same thing as with what you have inside. Maybe you are the most beautiful person, but maybe you have very bad qualities as a person at the same time. The one doesn't erase the other. That's the meaning of the story of Perseus, the commander. And Rowling fails miserably to understand that. Because as I think she's not really a good person herself. You get what I mean? I watched off camera how to win the puzzle, so I'm gonna do that now, okay?
Is it? He asked.
Let's go back.
Whose memory is it?
he asked. The younger Dumbledore seemed to be waiting for something, and sure enough, moments after their arrival, there was a knock on the door, and he said, "Enter." Voldemort had entered the room. His features were not those Harry had seen emerge from the great stone cauldron almost 2 years ago. They were not as snake-like, the eyes were not yet scarlet, the face not yet mask-like, and yet he was no longer handsome Tom Riddle. It was as though his features had been burned and blurred. They were waxy and oddly distorted, and the whites of the eyes now had a permanently bloody look, though the pupils were not yet the slits that Harry knew they would become. He was wearing a long black cloak, and his face was as pale as the snow glistening on his shoulders.
That's exactly what I was saying. The imagery that you have now is not actually Voldemort. It's actually the devil in a human form, and that's very, very, very disgusting as a parallel, because it forces people to read God as a person who punishes evil even if he shouldn't be so harsh. For example, let's say that like Tom Riddle is fallen because he got lost. This story says you are unredeemable. That's what is the reading behind it. That's the reading behind it. You are unredeemable. You are a fallen angel, and it's disgusting. You got 20 power orbs. Use them to upgrade your hero's skill tree at the Battle HQ. The tree of knowledge is all about attaining knowledge to become a deity. But the people that do that, like me, they don't know that they are doing something like that. They think that they are pushing the limits of magic. Let's put it that way. Um, they don't think that suddenly they will start having, I don't know, like um, I suppose a laser for eyes. Let's say it that. Let's say it that way. You don't think that. You still know you are a human, but you have deified yourself. You think that you are untouchable in some way. You don't think though that you are immortal and shit. That's attributes of the devil, because the devil is a spirit. I'm not saying he's doing well with what he's doing. I'm explaining myself. I'm just saying that he is a spirit, and if he thinks some stuff he thought he is God, and that's why people think it. No, people think it for different ways that they are gods, not in the same way as the devil is doing it, because the devil is a spirit. Don't mix up different species, and the human thinks he can control several things in his life. Yes, there are some people like that. The law of attraction teaches people that, but for example, they know that they can't control the death of their loved ones, just because they think that they can attract money and good luck if they use the white magic to their advantage. That doesn't mean that they don't understand that their mother, their father, their partner, their kids are eligible to die whatever minute that can be, and they can't revert this. They know that's not something that the devil can understand, not the way that he can understand it like he's stupid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because he's a spirit, he's not gonna react to certain shits like a human would, just because he's a different species. He's a spirit, he's not a human. So mixing up a spirit who wanted to become a god with a human who knows that they can die and they want still to become a god, it's not the same thing. It's very unfair for the human. Okay? They are not unlimited like the air is, as the spirits are. So putting a person looking like the devil, it's like saying you are a fallen angel, but how can he be a fallen angel? He's a human. My father says thanks. I don't know why he liked that. He says it's very cute. Okay, thank you.
Glistening
on his shoulders. The Dumbledore as though his features had been burned and blurred. They were waxy and oddly distorted, and the whites of the eyes now had a permanently bloody look, though the pupils were not yet the slits that Harry knew they would become. He was wearing a long black cloak, and his face was as pale as the snow glistening on his shoulders. The Dumbledore behind the desk showed no sign of surprise. Evidently this visit had been made by appointment. Good evening, Tom, said Dumbledore easily. Won't you sit down? Thank you, said Voldemort, and he took the seat to which Dumbledore had gestured. I heard that you had become headmaster, he said, but his voice was slightly higher and colder than it had been. A worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Dumbledore, smiling. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensive, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Voldemort a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. So, Tom, to what do I owe the pleasure? Voldemort did not answer at once, but merely sipped his wine. They do not call me Tom.
Film with no name 3. You
Found a new soundtrack. Check it out at the museum. Here you can see Saruman is Dumbledore. My father says, well done, Helga. He said, well done, Helga. Well done, baby girl. He's clapping as well. It's very easy. The Orthanc is a tower. Hogwarts is a tower. Dumbledore is the headmaster. Saruman is the master of the Orthanc and he has the keys. So who is Gandalf, Ze? Tom Riddle. My father says she knows this stuff because she's overworked. Yeah, you can see them easily. Like, my father says he wants me to answer a question. If I can see them after analysis or if I see them directly. No, I hear the story with you. I hear the story and I just understand what I hear. See that as... I will show you Chinese. Helga, what do you mean you will show me Chinese? I will show you. So, I will show you Chinese so you understand what I mean. So, you see your language here, right? Can I make it bigger? So, you see this picture, right? You see this and you say this is ni. And then you see this and you say how. And you say that's good morning, right? You see it, you don't think of it, you just see it with your eyes, like not this, right? You see this and you say ni hao, that means good morning, right? Hi, hello, you get what I mean? So like you know this is like hi, that's me, you know it instantly. You don't sit there and see, oh, okay, this is a stroke here, a line there that looks like this. Oh, it should be you, but I'm not quite sure. No, you know it instantly. I don't. I have learned it. I have learned it, and even though I have learned it, I'm not quite sure if I can write it. I write ni hao in Latin, and I know that it's like hi. You get what I mean? Morning, whatever. Like I like I don't know how to describe it. Like you see it, you know what it means, but you are doing it automatically, right? You get what I mean? Like you hear it, and you understand it without having to analyze it. Like you hear a person saying ni hao, and you know he's saying hi. He says morning, how you do, whatever. You get what I mean, right? I don't. I was trained to learn that, to understand that. So let's see now the picture. The picture. Um, I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know if I can have it. I don't have it here. Copilot, can you give me the sentences word for word? Dumbledore and Tom Riddle exchanged that went like, you became a headmaster. Yes, I did. I want to read exactly these two sentences. Rowling wrote. Okay. He can't, he says. Okay, give me a link then. Give me a link. Not audiobook, book link. Not PD, not YouTube video. Okay, I ask it to just give me 2 sentences and I have to buy the entire book. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Copilot, honestly, sometimes. So give me a moment. I have the PDF somewhere. Of course I have to follow up on advertisements. Of course, of course. Have, thank you. Uh, Headmaster. So, hold on a second. The unbreakable sluggish memory or Voldemort's request 400. Yeah. The lightning struck tower. Okay, so that's 579. 579. Okay, I am almost there. Where did we say we have to go? 423. 423. Okay, here we are. So, I heard that you had become a headmaster. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. I will tilt it. I heard that you have become a headmaster, he said, and his voice was slightly higher and colder than it had been. A worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Dumbledore, smiling. May I offer you a drink? So, I will copy this, clip it, and may I offer you a drink? Oh, smiling, let's make it easier, okay? And the other one is Gandalf and Saruman telling Saruman get down. So I will copy this as well. I want the sentence where it says about the keys of the Orthanc. I don't have it in the picture, so Two Towers PDF. Do you have it here? Probably. Okay. So you go the voice of Saruman. Remember that, the voice of Saruman. So now I will show you how I do it, the translation that I say, the spiritual translation, okay? It's very easy, it's quite easy, I will show you. So, I said it will do it like it is maths, right? So, can I write, I'm just curious, can I write a post like this or not? No. I can open here. I will open not on YouTube, that is. I will open here. I don't know. I don't think I can flip this. up. I was trying to maybe flip my notes, but I don't think I can do that either, so I will have to do it here. I will show you in the pictures. So I have copied and pasted this, which is from the Rowling, and this is from Tolkien. That's by accident. So let's fix it a little bit. Conditions, reasons to live. I will show you how I read it. So colder than before. Okay, so you read, that's Harry Potter, that's Harry Potter, that's Lotr. Okay, so this is what you read, right? Focus. Yep. So I heard that you had become headmaster, he said, and his voice was slightly higher and colder than it had been. A worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Dumbledore, smiling. That's what you read there, right? Focus, please. Thank you very much. So you read this. I will show you what I read. I read this. That's what I read. I heard that you had become headmaster. A worthy choice. I'm glad you approve, he said, he smiling. So, you have a sentence. You have a sentence where, let's fix that, by the way. You have a sentence where somebody says somebody became a headmaster, and the other says, yes, I became, right? Let's now go to the Lotr part. That this is what you read, right? I'm now explaining to you how Chinese ideograms work for me when I see them, because you see an ideogram and you say that's a word that means hello, and I see a story and I hear the words. You get what I mean? It's the exact same. So I see like and I see a drawing. I have to be taught that this means a sentence. It's a language, it's a sentence, it's a word. This means hi. This is how Chinese say hi. You have to do the same with me, pretty much, to understand how I think. I'm not saying learn it. I mean that if you want to understand how I think, you have to learn my language, pretty much. That's what I'm saying. So, you read here, that's the ideogram for you, right? That sounds well, sneered Saruman, very much in the manner of Gandalf the Grey, so condescending, so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthanc commodious and my departure convenient, but why should I wish to live? And what do you mean by free? These are conditions, I presume. So, you read this, I read this. So, I don't have a name. I don't have a name here. I don't have name here. Because if you're like, yeah, why did you remove the names? Because I hear voices, I don't hear names. Saruman, Gandalf, Voldemort, Dumbledore, and so on. I hear voices. And when I hear a voice, I match it with the person that it belongs to. That's how a mystic works. So, when he said, I heard that you had become a headmaster. I hear a voice here. I don't see, that's Voldemort, that's the bad guy, because Rowling says so. I see what I have said. What did we say? Let's put it here as like, you get what I mean? Like the rule says, I have given you Claudius means Buddhism. So if Claudius means Buddhism and here says Claudius. Fuck you. Claudius said, right? So now it says, I heard that you had become a headmaster, Claudius said. A worthy choice. I can replace this and say Buddhism, said. And you're like, oh god, that's Chinese. there is a phrase we say in Greek, that's Chinese to me. That's the equivalent of that's Greek to me that you say in English. That's Greek to me, like I don't understand it. It's foreign language. That's Greek to me. The Greeks say it, that's Chinese to me. So yeah, that's Chinese, isn't it? So Buddhism said that, like I see names there. So let's take it out. You understand how the example works, right? So if we have the rule Claudius means Buddhism, I said that Gandalf is Dumbledore. Sorry, Voldemort is Voldemort. And I said Saruman is Dumbledore, right? I said this. So if Claudius means Buddhism, this is our example, this is the verb that we use. Let's say, don't we have a verb that we use it to fix all the other verbs? Like this verb, the model verb pretty much works like this. If you know that play goes played, then when you have stop, you will say stopped, right? Enjoy, enjoyed, because you have the modal verb. How it works, you do the other things that you have, the exact same thing, right? So here it said Voldemort said, a worthy choice. I heard that you had become headmaster, Voldemort said, a worthy choice. So if here says, that sounds well, Saruman sneered, then can I say here where it says Saruman sneered, can I replace it, can I put Dumbledore, can I put Dumbledore here instead of Saruman, and can I put here where I have put Voldemort, can I put Gandalf? Will I make sense of the story if I replace the names? So let's read it again. I heard that you had become headmaster, Gandalf said, a worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Dumbledore. Let's leave it Dumbledore for the moment. Let's put it in a parenthesis. I will put it in a parenthesis, okay? So let's go again. I heard that you had become headmaster, Gandalf said, a worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said in a parenthesis Dumbledore, smiling. So let's go and see if this makes sense now. That sounds well, Dumbledore sneered, very much in the manner of Gandalf the Grey, so condescending and so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthanc commodious and my departure convenient. But why should I wish to live? And what do you mean by free? These are conditions, I presume. Can you match the voice speaking here and now? My father is laughing. He says you think like a spirit through and through. Yes. Can you match the voice in here with the voice here? Is it the same voice? If you're like, Yaga, why? I heard that you had become a headmaster. So this dude here, Dumbledore, is the same dude that he could be, theoretically, the dude that is here with the tower. Right? That he's the dude that has an Orthanc commodious, my departure convenient. You wouldn't like it. So the Voldemort figure here, that was originally Voldemort, that becomes Gandalf. So condescending, so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthanc commodious, my departure convenient. Why should I wish to live? What do you mean by free? Do you want me to expand this and give you more context? I can do that. Hold on. Can do that. So, uh, I'm trying to copy it, but it's a little bit difficult. Okay. So I copied it and let's paste it where we were discussing, right? Where we were discussing about Dumbledore and Gandalf. Let's now paste, right? The the text that reads later. That's the next sentences that we read in the story on the audiobook. Now we see them written down. I copied them from the original and I show you. So Dumbledore stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensieve, but which then was full of bottles. Sorry. Uh, Sorry, I forgot to add a sentence. Sorry. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said Voldemort. I have come a long way. Dumbledore stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensieve, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Voldemort a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. So, can I replace Voldemort? That will be welcome, said Voldemort, with Gandalf. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said Gandalf. I have come a long way, and then here you say Saruman. Can I say here Saruman? Can I put also here leave the parentheses? Said Saruman, smiling. Can I say now this? I heard that you had become headmaster, Gandalf said. A worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Saruman, smiling. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said Gandalf. I have come a long way. Saruman stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensieve, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Voldemort a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. Continuing the Lord of the Rings part. That sounds well, Dumbledore sneered, very much in the manner of Gandalf the Grey. So condescending and so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthan commodious and my departure convenient. But why should I wish to live, and what do you mean by free? These are conditions, I presume. Can you see that they could actually be in the same storyline if you adjust some elements from each part of the story, like make this character, the Gandalf character, irritated. This Gandalf, we remember from the story, he was in a horse and he was with some other people, and they were trying to fight like Saruman. They had the tree birds and all that stuff, and they were trying to fight him, and they were in their horses. So he came a long way, said originally Voldemort. So if we say that Voldemort, aka Gandalf, is actually the same person, and we replace him with Gandalf, and we say in the story, do you want me to eliminate here Lotr? I will eliminate here Z, I will eliminate HP. Okay, so we have only the texts, right? In our rules. And we say that Gandalf from the story, so Gandalf, let's write it. Gandalf in the story was riding Shadow the horse, and so did his friends who are the Death Eaters of Voldemort. Can you see? So, keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. My father is laughing. He says, I am thinking like a spirit. Yeah, I hear it. What I'm explaining, I know it. The same moment that you are telling me the story, I understand it. That's how my mind works. Like, I don't fake it. I don't overanalyze anything. I'm not like spiraling. Oh, I heard this. Maybe this is that. This is that. No, I hear the voice. My father says I can explain because she's. What the fuck is going on here? So, because she is trained with spirits from a young age, she understands how they speak, so she focuses on the voice because she discusses with them. Take it as your native language, he says, how you deal with dialects in China. If you learn the dialect because it is from your province, hope I translate it properly, you understand it by heart. But if you are an outsider, you can't understand unless you are trained or you know Mandarin and you can discuss with this person, he says. Or if you know Cantonese and you speak in Cantonese, he says, with a person who speaks Cantonese, or you speak like in Chinese, he says, in the Hong Kong University or in the capital, he says, in a restaurant. That's what he says. I don't know what this means though. But if you wanna speak with he says, with the farmer in a dialect, if you don't know the dialect, it's a foreign language, he says, for you. Really? Is that really the case? He says it's a foreign language. So for Helga, because she talks with spirits, she was talking, he says, with the devil, who is a spirit, and now she's best friends with me, as you know. She knows how we speak and she understands our dialects, and that's a foreign language for outsiders. He means, I'm translating because I don't know if I use the correct translation. I'm trying to find accurate words because he's speaking in Greek. He means that just because you don't understand, that doesn't mean that you are stupid or that you can't learn it. He doesn't say that. He says that I grew up with it like a farmer in China. That's why he's giving you a farmer. He doesn't say a lecturer at the uni. He says, yes, exactly. Yeah. He says a farmer in China will speak in his native language, the dialect. He won't speak Greek or Indian. He will speak the dialect in Chinese. He will speak the slang, let's put it that way. He's not gonna speak like posh, a light Mandarin from the university, pretty much. That's what he says. That's what I understand. He says yes, that's what I say. He says. So that's my native language. That's what I'm saying. I understand what they say instantly. I'm not sitting there to make analysis like you would do scholarly in a scholarly setting. I understand it instantly what I hear. Exactly as you do with the Mandarin. I have to learn how to do the strokes in the Mandarin language, but you see them and you know this word means ni hao, that is hi. You get what I mean? I have to learn it by scratch. So that's you with me, right? So my dad said that a farmer in China will speak in dialect and not polished Mandarin or Cantonese, or like they speak in Beijing and Hong Kong. Is that right? Yes, your dad is absolutely right. In China, many farmers, especially in rural areas, speak regional dialects that can be very different from standard Mandarin, Putonghua, or Cantonese. Yeah, that I suppose that's what he says then. Okay, it makes sense. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So he speaks about farmers there. Now I understand better. I will continue what this says, but he speaks about farmers because he wants you to understand that I am not I'm not in a university setting. My knowledge is not like that. Maybe it sounds to you like that. I don't know. But for me, it's how I grew up. It's not like a light for me. I am a farmer from China that speaks his dialect that he grew up with. You just don't know the dialect, and I suppose it sounds crazy that I can speak it, but I grew up listening to this dialect, so I understand what it says instantly. Mandarin Putonghua is the official national language taught in schools and used in media and government. Cantonese is dominant in places like Hong Kong, Guangzhou. Fuck, I said Guangzhou in my post. I just altered it for fun. And parts of southern China. But across rural China, people often speak local dialects or even entirely different languages within Chinese language family. Farmers and dialects. A farmer in Sichuan might speak Sichuanese, which sounds very different from Beijing Mandarin. A farmer in Fujian might speak Hokkien or Min Nan, which is unintelligible to Mandarin speakers. Okay, in Shandong, Henan or Hunan, local dialects can be so strong that even native Mandarin speakers struggle to understand them. Why it matters? These dialects carry regional identity, cultural nuance, and emotional intimacy. Yeah, that's what I mean. I understand that. That's what I mean when I speak about spirit language. Like it carries identity. It carries like your background. It's not like I do it for analysis. I'm not doing for analysis. It's my background. It's how I grew up with. It's like how I was trained myself, like understanding spirits. That's what I mean. Okay. Many older generations, especially in rural areas, never fully learned standard Mandarin, so their speech reflects local history and oral tradition. So yes, if you meet a farmer in rural China, chances are they will speak in a local dialect, not in the polished Mandarin you'd hear in Beijing or the Cantonese of Hong Kong. It's not just a language difference, it's cultural one. It's very different what I say from what you understand when you read a book, because you are taught to see the beauty, I suppose, of the words. I I suppose I was taught that in my school, but it's a different thing to be taught something, as you say, Mandarin. But I practiced mysticism. I spoke with Zeus. Now I speak with my father. I was speaking with my father always. I know Zeus. Okay, so it's another thing to know Mandarin by school, and another thing to grow in a farmer's house in China. I understand that even if I am not from there, you get what I mean. And having a father who is a farmer and he speaks his local dialect, even if you go to a very polished school in China, I am sure of that, because I had many classmates in Greece who were from villages that were speaking not exactly dialects, we don't exactly have that anymore in Greece, but they were speaking with the accent. You get what I mean? My father says what I said about her being an Athenian. Yes, I was not like that. I am an Athenian, so I was from the place I grew up into, Athenian in Athens. So for the guy that is from the village who came into Athens and he's taught Athenian, and his parents at home talk the dialect they have, or the accent, even the accent they have in his, fuck my life, this is gonna, the camera is gonna go entirely off. I will speak and I will plug it. So even if you have like parents that speak the language, but you are far away from the village, let's put it that way, the dialect or the accent, you get what I mean, you are still gonna get influenced by that, because this is how you grew up. It's your upbringing. And that I understand that with the farmers, that's what I mean, because these kids don't just grow up with the language barrier. Like they, let's say a Beijing kid lives there, but it's from Guangzhou, as we said, right? And his parents moved when he was young into from the village into the city so that they have a better life, right? That's why you move anyways. And he goes to school and he learns Mandarin, he has the accent and all that. You understand that, like, that's his language if you listen to him speaking, right? But when you I don't know how to say it, like when you hear him speaking in his dialect, you will understand that he's actually a native, because yes, he grew up in Beijing. Yes, he learned how to speak like a Beijing person, but because he's influenced by his parents who were in the village and they came in the city and he lives with them every single day, right? Of course, this is gonna reflect in how he speaks, how he thinks, and everything. So when you hear him, like, how do you say this back in your province? He will speak like in the dialect. You will hear the accent. You will hear the cultural heritage, even if he hasn't grew up in that place. You can say this is the exact same that has happened to me with the spirits. Yes, I am not a spirit. We have the spirit of God in us, obviously, but I'm not a spirit like my father. I'm a human. But because I grew up with the spirit, I talk with him every single day. I was talking with Zeus because I was a mystic, and I grew up learning it at school. Yes, not always you have good mystics at school, let's put it that way, but uh, because I was like, that's what I'm saying. I was taught this dialect at home when I was with the spirits. When you ask me, can you speak what you know from school? I'm gonna say what I learned at school: the Athenian Greek, the classical, modern, English, French. I learned a lot of languages. But when you say, Helga, can you explain what this dream says, what this prophecy says, what this Bible verse, this Quranic verse, this Theogony verse says there? I start speaking very crazily for you. You say ontological, yeah, because I switch the part of my brain that speaks Mandarin, I switch it off, and now I speak the Guangzhou dialect, and you don't understand what I say because I reflect how I was trained by the spirits. That's what I'm saying. You get what I mean? Because the spirits, I have told you many times, I'm not speaking about doctrine here. I'm not speaking about doctrine. The spirits have a universal code. Obviously, the demons are wrong, and God is the source of truth, obviously, but that doesn't mean that they don't use the same language. What this means is that don't expect God to speak Chinese and the demons to speak Russian, a different alphabet. No, it's the same language. It's the exact same language. It's just they use it differently. Let's see it like Trump is God, Kamala Harris is the devil. So what is the difference between them? The same thing. They are spirits. They are just different parties. The one person is a communist, the other person is like a right wing, right? So they have the same thing. Like Trump is older, Kamala Harris is a woman and younger. She is progressive, he's more Puritan, he speaks about God, she says bodily autonomy. You get what I mean? Like they are the same thing, politicians with knowledge, with degrees, with money probably. They are supporting the people that live in America, both of them. Like Kamala Harris supports minorities, I hear, and Trump supports also his people. He's trying to defend them. What is the difference they have though? The one person is right, the other person is left. So if you hear that, no, I'm not saying that Kamala Harris is the devil. No, I actually like her. I honestly like her. I think she's very cool. I wouldn't just like her as a president for political reasons. Like I think Obama was a better president, I think. But I think she's a really cool woman. Apart from that, I'm just explaining because they are a good equivalent with what I'm discussing. How you can have a person from the same species as you, they speak the same language, but because they are different side, let's put it that way, this is left, this is right, wing, they have a different way of expressing it, pretty much. So Trump will say, I think we should close the borders, full stop. I'm not gonna go into details, obviously, you understand, I'm giving you examples. Kamala says, open the borders, full stop. So what you have to see there is actually who is the true deity. Is Trump the true deity or Kamala Harris? See the speech and see it for yourself who is the liar. Obviously, I'm not saying that these people claim to be deities and that these examples don't show deityhood or anything. I'm just explaining that the one person says the exact opposite of what the other person says, but when they speak, you don't expect Kamala Harris to speak Indian or Russian or because she's Indian or speak Greek to say the sentence that she's saying. No, she speaks English like Donald Trump. She just says the exact opposite because this is her opinion. You get what I mean? So this is what the spirits do. So it is a universal language, but you have to learn how to read it pretty much to understand who is this and who is that. So we have, as I said, Death Eaters of Voldemort and his friends. So as I said, I see that instantly. So if the horse in the story is written by Gandalf, let's connect this. So we wrote, let's connect the stories and you can see that the story is the same. So Rowling wrote this and we corrected the name. So this is Rowling's story, if you remember, and now we are writing the names. We have written the names. I will read it until here and let's see. So, I heard that you had become a headmaster, Gandalf said. A worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Saruman, smiling. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said Gandalf. I have come a long way. Saruman stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensieve, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Voldemort a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. Here is the paragraph by Tolkien, which we have removed the name L'Autre above it, Two Towers, and we have changed the names. That sounds well, Dumbledore sneered. Okay, I figured here, handed Gandalf. Okay. So, that sounds well, Dumbledore sneered, very much in the manner of Gandalf the Grey, very condescending and so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthanc commodious and my departure convenient, but why should I wish to live? And what do you mean by free? There are conditions, I presume. So, we will fix that later. So, we have here that the character that we have labeled as Dumbledore from before, he doesn't like how the character Gandalf is condescending and kind. He's mocking him and he says, you would like me to live. So what do we have? We have Gandalf in the original Two Towers. He's on a horse and he's with his friends. So let's insert here to fix it. So I will drink my wine, my father says the wine of Jesus, quickly, because my friends wait outside for me to return, said Gandalf. We will stay with Gandalf. We came here to ask you to step down as the headmaster because we think you are fucking your students. Let's put this for a change. My father is laughing. Okay, and we think this is very unethical. I've been waiting for a sunset, waiting on a sorry, but you're never sorry, are you? The song by Fauzia. Can you see it? Telga, what are you eating? I'm eating chocolate. Did you see it? I stayed so you can see it. So let's now replace the names. So here is Saruman. Dumbledore is Saruman. So let's replace Dumbledore with Saruman. Let's read now the story that we have replaced all the names. We have made it a one single story. That's one single story here. Two different names, two different stories. We added a sentence in the middle and we connected them. Does that read intelligibly or not? I heard that you had become headmaster, Gandalf said. A worthy choice. I'm glad you approve, said Saruman, smiling. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said Gandalf. I have come a long way. Saruman stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensieve, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Gandalf a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. I will drink my wine quickly, because my friends wait outside for me to return, said Gandalf. We came here to ask you to step down as the headmaster, because we think you are fucking your students. I'm trying to keep it professional. It's a little bit hard with these sentences I'm writing, but you get what I mean. My father says Helgian structure, yeah. I will drink my wine quickly, because my friends wait outside for me to return, said Gandalf. We came here to ask you to step down as the headmaster, because we think you are fucking your students and we think this is very unethical. That sounds well, Saruman sneered, very much in the manner of Gandalf the Grey, so condescending and so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Orthanc commodious, and my departure convenient, but why should I wish to leave, and what do you mean by free? There are conditions, I presume. Can you see that it matches? The story is the same. So do you want me now to replace the names Gandalf and Saruman with the, according to our example, Claudius means Buddhism. So we replace Gandalf with Voldemort. So wherever we see Gandalf, I will save here for future reference. Okay. So wherever we see Gandalf, we put Voldemort. Okay. So Voldemort. Okay. Voldemort said Voldemort. Okay. Voldemort again. Voldemort. We just do copy paste here. The manner of Voldemort. Okay, and we have Saruman is Dumbledore. So wherever we see Saruman, we put Dumbledore. So Saruman is Dumbledore. Saruman is Dumbledore, right? Saruman is Dumbledore. Right. Let's read it. Let's read it and see if it makes sense. Okay. I heard that you had become headmaster, Voldemort said. A worthy choice. I am glad you approve, said Dumbledore, smiling. May I offer you a drink? That would be welcome, said Voldemort. I have come a long way. Dumbledore stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensieve, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Voldemort the goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. I will drink my wine quickly, because my friends wait outside for me to return, said Voldemort. We came here to ask you to step down as the headmaster, because we think you are fucking your students and we think this is very unethical. That sounds well, Dumbledore sneered. Very much in the manner of Voldemort, so condescending and so very kind. I do not doubt that you would find Hogwarts here, or thanks Hogwarts. Let's do this as well. I do not doubt that you would find Hogwarts commodious and my departure convenient. But why should I wish to live, and what do you mean by free? There are conditions, I presume. Can you see that the story is the exact same? My father is laughing very much. So, let's see now. I have another portion. I have this as well. So, the other part says Saruman's face grew vivid, so that's Lord of the Rings. That's Lord of the Rings. And maybe if I can, let's see. Let's see if I can find something very well from the other story. We can fix it and see it with the other one. Yeah, I have here. That's a bigger one, Ze, so you have to pay attention, but hopefully this will clarify why I say what I say. So let's go back. So let's continue here. So that's HP. So this clip. Okay, this is Lotr and this is HP. Right. So Dumbledore set down his empty glass and drew himself up in his seat, the tips of his fingers together in a very characteristic gesture. Let's fix it so it is easily readable, I suppose, in his seat. Yeah. Let us speak openly. Why have you come here tonight surrounded by henchmen to request a job we both know you do not want? I'm not gonna connect the previous installment into this. I'm just doing another abstract so you understand how I think, right? Voldemort looked coldly surprised. A job I do not want, on the contrary, Dumbledore, I want it very much, he says. Oh, you want to come back to Hogwarts, but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted when you were 18. What is it you are after, Tom? Why not try an open request for once? Voldemort sneered. If you do not want to give me a job, of course I don't, said Dumbledore. And I don't think for a moment you expected me to. Nevertheless, you came here, you asked, you must have had a purpose. Voldemort stood up. He looked less like Tom Riddle than ever, his features thick with rage. This is your final word? It is, said Dumbledore, also standing. Then we have nothing more to say to each other. No, nothing, said Dumbledore, and a great sadness filled his face. The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make repayment for your crimes. But I wish I could, Tom, I wish I could. A burning wardrobe, Ze. A burning wardrobe. He frightened him with fire, the signature of Zeus. Lord of the Rings. Saruman's face grew livid, twisted with rage, with a red light was kindled in his eyes. He laughed widely. Later, he cried, and his voice rose to a scream. Later, yes, when you also have the keys of Barad-dûr itself, I suppose, and the crowns of the 7 kings, and the rods of the 5 wizards. And you have purchased yourself a pair of boots many sizes larger than those you wear now. A modest plan, hardly one in which my help is needed. I have other things to do, but do not be a fool. If you want to treat with me while you have a chance, go away and come back when you are sober, and leave behind these cutthroats and small talk that dangle on your tail. Good day. He turned left and left the balcony. Can you see that Saruman is actually Dumbledore? Can you see it? My father says I have to explain. Okay. So, Claudius is Buddhism. So, if I can replace a dude with a dude, that can make me get the same outcome, right? So, Dumbledore can be Saruman. So, let's replace Dumbledore with Saruman. Okay, Saruman sat down his empty glass and drew himself up in his seat, the tips of his fingers together in a very characteristic gesture. Let us speak openly. Why have you come here tonight, surrounded by henchmen, to request a job we both know you do not want? Voldemort is Gandalf. Can we replace him? Gandalf looked coldly surprised. A job I do not want. On the contrary, Saruman, I want it very much. Oh, you want to come back to the Orthanc? Right, the Tower of Saruman, but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted to when you were 18. What is it you are after, Gandalf? Tom is Voldemort, therefore Gandalf. Why not an open request for once? Gandalf sneered. If you do not want to give me a job, of course I don't, said Saruman. And I don't think for a moment you expected me to. Nevertheless, you came here, you asked, you must have had a purpose. Voldemort stood up. Gandalf stood up. He looked less like Gandalf than ever, his features thick with rage. Let's take this out. Helga, why remove it? Because we analyze voices, we don't analyze context. The context is there from the mystic to confuse you. You take out the details. You just leave the voices. He said, she said, he said, she said. That's what you leave. Because whatever gives you more details how the character looks like or feels like, that is confusing. Listen to the voice. Didn't I say to you the other day with the Iliad, don't listen what it says apart from the fact that Zeus said the dream, only listen, focus on the voice of the dream, don't focus on whatever happens and the details. Do you remember I said isolate in your head only the voice? You have to isolate only the voice. You are doing an extraction, the voice in the recording, is it matching the devil, is it matching God? When you need that, you can't focus on the details of the story. You have only to listen, to focus on the voice itself. So, you came here, you must have a purpose. Gandalf stood up. This is your final word. It is, said Dumbledore, also standing. Then we have nothing more to say to each other. No, nothing, said Dumbledore. And a great sadness filled his face. Remove that. No, nothing, said Dumbledore. The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make... Dumbledore is Saruman, we said. Sorry, I forgot that. Said Saruman. The time is long. Hope I didn't delete many things, because I deleted one word and it removed me one entire sentence and I wrote it by head. So I hope I did it correctly. I don't know if I can see it here. Hold on a second. I will... yeah, I did it correctly. Okay, I did it correctly. So, okay, let's continue to finish this up, to wrap up this session. Okay, so... The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make repayment for your crimes, but I wish I could, Gandalf. I wish I could. Saruman's face grew livid, twisted with rage, and a red light was kindling in his eyes. Saruman's face grew livid. We delete all this. All this, we take it out. We don't need it. Okay. He laughed wildly. Who? Saruman was the previous sentence. So, Saruman is Dumbledore. We write Dumbledore. Dumbledore laughed wildly. Later, he cried, and his voice rose to a scream. Later, yes, when you also have the keys of Barad-dûr itself, I suppose, and the crowns of 7 kings, and the robes of 5 wizards, and have purchased yourself a pair of boots many sizes larger than those that you wear now, a modest plan, hardly one in which my help is needed. I have other things to do. Do not be a fool. If you wish to treat with me while you have a chance, go away and come back when you are sober, and leave behind these cutthroats and small ragtag that dangle at your tail. Who are these? The Death Eaters that the story says that wait outside of Dumbledore, Voldemort's command. I just didn't put it here, but you will listen to it in the audio. The Death Eaters wait for Tom Riddle outside of the door. That's what happened. So, have a good day. He turned and left the balcony. So, can I connect this story with Gandalf and Saruman with what Rowling writes here? I wish I could, Gandalf. I wish I could. So, I will remove now Dumbledore. Not Dumbledore. What can I do? I will do Dumbledore. Barad-dûr. Barad-dûr is the tower of Sauron. So let's remove this and put Hogwarts. Okay. And let's remove the names that we've put, Saruman and Gandalf, and put Dumbledore and Voldemort. So, Saruman is Dumbledore. So, Dumbledore, wherever we see Saruman, and Voldemort, wherever we see Gandalf. Okay, so Orthanc, again, Hogwarts, that's the tower. Helga, it's a tower, yeah. Hold on a second, because I made again this mistake with can you see here an entire sentence got eliminated. This happens to me on YouTube, so we are eliminating the names of Saruman that we had. Saruman is Dumbledore, Gandalf is Voldemort, so wherever we see Voldemort we put Gandalf and so on. So let's see now if it is correct. He put sat down his empty glass and drew himself up in his seat, the tips of his fingers together in a very characteristic gesture. Let us speak openly. Why have you come here tonight surrounded by henchmen? The henchmen say to request a job we both know you do not want. Do you see it? Here. Leave behind these cutthroats and small ragtag that dangle at your tail. The same people. That's Death Eaters are his friends. Right? So, Voldemort looked coldly surprised. A job I do not want, on the contrary, Dumbledore, I want it very much. Oh, you want to come back to Hogwarts, but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted to when you were 18. So, Orthanc and Barad-dûr here become Hogwarts, okay? Because they are the tower, it is the structure. Buddhism is Claudius. You take the word and you replace it, the tower with the tower, okay? Orthanc is a bad tower. Minas Tirith is a good tower. Barad-dûr is a bad tower. So bad with bad equal. The only unequal is the good one. So the good one can have the same name with another good one. So like let's see it like Japan was with Austria in the Second World War, right? So if you wanna say Austria, you could say Japan. If you wanna say China, you can say America because they were in the same battlefield. They were allies. You get what I mean? So Orthanc and Barad-dûr can mean the same word. Okay, you interchangeable because they are bad towers. So what is the good tower? Edoras, Minas Tirith, and so on. Okay, so but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted to when you were 18. What is it you are after, Voldemort? Why not try to open a request for once? Voldemort sneered. If you do not want to give me a job, of course I don't send Voldemort, and I do not think for a moment you expected me to. Nevertheless, you came here, you asked, you must have had a purpose. Voldemort stood up. Let's remove that. We had said we remove it, but I copy-pasted it again. This is your final word. It is, said Dumbledore, also standing. Then we have nothing more to say to each other. No, nothing, said Dumbledore. We remove that. Okay. Nothing, said Dumbledore. The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make repayment for your crimes, but I wish I could. Voldemort, I wish I could. Remove here Lord of the Rings. Remove it. Remove here HP. Okay. We are doing voices here. So Dumbledore spoke here again. So let's connect it. Voldemort stood up as well. Now I'm writing my own bullshit here. You get me, Zé? I'm writing my own bullshit. So Voldemort stood up as well and left his wine and went to the door while Dumbledore went to the balcony. I will come later, I promise, and I hope the next time you see me inside here, you will have more respect for me and you will treat me more kindly because I did nothing. I did nothing to you, and the way you suspect me of wrongdoing and misdemeanor just proves you are the one who is guilty of misdemeanor and malicious behavior in the school. Okay, so this is the Helgian part. Okay, so that's Helga. Okay, that's Helga. Let's read what Helga says. Okay, so Helga writes, Voldemort... Helga, did you write it here? Yeah, now I brainstormed it, yeah. Voldemort stood up as well and left his wine and went to the door while Dumbledore went to the balcony. I will come later, I promise, and I hope the next time you see me inside here you will have more respect for me and you will treat me more kindly because I did nothing to you, and the way you suspect me of wrongdoing and misdemeanor just proves you are the one who is guilty of misdemeanor and malicious behavior in the school. Okay, so that's the Helgian part. So remove Helgian part, Z. Now let's read the full story without any interactions in between and interruptions. Everything blending. HP first, Harry Potter, Helga, Lord of the Rings, the one after the other, corrected, edited in one single prose. Can you tell me, does it sound exactly as I tell you? Like, can you replace indeed Dumbledore with Saruman and Gandalf with Voldemort? So, Dumbledore sighted down his empty glass and drew himself up in his seat, the tips of his fingers together in a very characteristic gesture. Let us speak openly. Why have you come here tonight, surrounded by henchmen, to request a job we both know you do not want? Voldemort looked coldly surprised. A job I do not want, on the contrary, Dumbledore. I want it very much. You wanted to come back to Hogwarts, but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted to when you were 18. What is it you are after, Voldemort? Why not try an open request for once? Voldemort sneered. If you do not want to give me a job, of course I don't, said Dumbledore, and I don't think for a moment you expected me to. Nevertheless, you came here, you asked, you must have had a purpose. Voldemort stood up. This is your final word. It is, said Dumbledore, also standing. Then we have nothing more to say to each other. No, nothing, said Dumbledore. The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make repayment for your crimes. But I wish I could, Voldemort. I wish I could. Voldemort stood up as well and left his wine and went to the door, while Dumbledore went to the balcony. I will come here, I promise, and I hope the next time I will come here later, I promise, and I hope the next time you see me inside here, you will have more respect for me, and you will treat me more kindly, because I did nothing to you, and the way you suspect me of wrongdoing and misdemeanor just proves you are the one who is guilty of misdemeanor and malicious behavior in the school. Dumbledore laughed wildly. Later, he cried, and his voice rose to a scream. Later, yes, when you also have the keys of Hogwarts itself, I suppose, and the crowns of 7 kings, and the rods of the 5 wizards, and have purchased yourself a pair of boots many sizes larger than those that you wear now. My father is laughing. A modest plan, hardly one in which my help is needed. I have other things to do. Do not be a fool. If you wish to treat with me while you have a chance, go away and come back when you are sober, and leave behind these cutthroats and small ragtag that dangle at your tail. Good day. He turned and left the balcony. Does it sound to you what I'm telling you that it sounds like? Like, do you see it for what it is? That it is the exact same story, it's the exact same characters, it's an archetype. You invoke an archetype. The mystic that writes the story is invoking an archetype. What he is doing is invocation of an archetype, pretty much. When you write an archetype, the archetype is gonna sound like it wherever you take the story. You can make the character Chinese, man from Canada, alien, it will still be the same archetype. That's universal code, it's a language. That's what I'm saying. So you hear it, it sounds exactly the same as the previous one, because it's a universal code, it's a language. It sounds the same. You just make adjustments. What did I do? Did you see me making analysis? I didn't do any analysis. I just listened what the characters wrote, or said better, in Rowling's story. I corrected the way that the names sounded. So Voldemort became, what did we say? Gandalf, right? I corrected the names, then I saw what Tolkien wrote with the same archetypes, and I added a fucking stupid sentence in the middle myself to connect two different stories. I didn't put much thinking into it. I didn't think it, like overthink it and discuss in my head how I have to do it, like do this, do that, and so on. I didn't do anything very meticulous. I didn't do anything like that. I just wrote two passages and then I connected them with a simple sentence that I wrote. You saw me on camera writing down. That's not intellect. That's me connecting two dots like a police officer, pretty much in a crime scene. You connect this with that. It doesn't require much thinking. It's like playing Mario, and you see it's the exact same story. What? Because that's an archetype in the spiritual language. You invoke an archetype, and that's why I said that Rowling has fucked up the character. If that makes sense. So to wrap up this session, let's listen uninterrupted now because you listened to it and now I understand why my father said listen to the story in chunks. Let's listen to the story while we play some Mario. We didn't play it too much today, right?
A worthy choice. I am. Has now had a permanently bloody look. Whose memory is it? He asked.
The younger Dumbledore seemed to be waiting for something, and sure enough, moments after their arrival, there was a knock on the door, and he said, "Enter." Voldemort had entered the room. His features were not those Harry had seen emerge from the great stone cauldron almost 2 years ago. They were not as snake-like, the eyes were not yet scarlet, the face not yet mask-like, and yet he was no longer handsome Tom Riddle. It was as though his features had been burned and blurred. They were waxy and oddly distorted, and the whites of the eyes now had a permanently bloody look, though the pupils were not yet the slits that Harry knew they would become. He was wearing a long black cloak, and his face was as pale as the snow glistening on his shoulders. The Dumbledore behind the desk showed no sign of surprise. Evidently this visit had been made by appointment. "Good evening, Tom," said Dumbledore easily. "Won't you sit down?" "Thank you," said Voldemort, and he took the seat to which Dumbledore had gestured. "I heard that you had become headmaster," he said, and his voice was slightly higher and colder than it had been. "A worthy choice." "I am glad you approve," said Dumbledore, smiling. "May I offer you a drink?" "That would be welcome," said Voldemort. "I have come a long way." Dumbledore stood and swept over to the cabinet where he now kept the pensive, but which then was full of bottles. Having handed Voldemort a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. "So, Tom, to what do I owe the pleasure?" Voldemort did not answer at once, but merely sipped his wine. "They do not call me Tom anymore," he said. "These days, I am known as—" "I know what you are known as," said Dumbledore, smiling pleasantly. "But to me, I'm afraid you'll always be Tom Riddle. It is one of the irritating things about old teachers. I'm afraid that—"
Can you see my father is laughing. Can you see what she's doing? Listen. Listen again. You can see the heart of a person by the crap that doesn't come out of their butthole but from their mouth. And that's biblical. My father is laughing. My father said it's not what enters a mouth or the body of a person that pollutes them, because this exits the toilet. What comes out of your mouth is what pollutes you. Because I am translating in the Helgian manner, as he said, I don't know why he's laughing. What you are eating comes out from your butthole as poop. That's what my father says there. But if you are pooping your crap not from your butthole but from your mouth, that's a serious issue. Can you imagine your mouth full of crap? No. You are saying that's disgusting. That's exactly what Rowling is saying. What she says is disgusting. It's as if she's having crap coming out of her mouth. My father, I don't know, he will die from laughter. Honestly, you will die from laughter. I don't know what's wrong with you. He says, I cannot die. I died already once. Okay. Whatever. Whatever. I don't know. He says you're funny. You don't see such preachers like you all the time. Yeah. He says you're one of a kind. How do you explain what Jesus said in that holy Bible verse? He says Helga, and like the equal symbol like this. Like what I said is what you just heard. It's like the meme, the joke. You get what I mean, right? Like Helga, colon, And the things that she says, my father says exactly, colon. I didn't mean that colon, I meant the colon, the syntax. He said, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. Okay. Okay. I know what to do. So, Rowling says this. Listen carefully, Ze. Listen carefully what she says. See the crap that comes out of her mouth.
Having handed Voldemort a goblet of wine and poured one for himself, he returned to the seat behind his desk. So, Tom, to what do I owe the pleasure? Voldemort did not answer at once, but merely sipped his wine. They do not call me Tom anymore, he said. These days, I am known as... I know what you are known as, said Dumbledore, smiling pleasantly. But to me, I'm afraid you'll always be Tom Riddle. It is one of the irritating things about old teachers. I'm afraid that they never quite forget their charges' youthful beginnings.
Okay, so let's see here what we have. Okay, let's fix it. So we have the. My father says this will shock you. Okay. We have this. So Tom, to what I owe the pleasure? Voldemort did not answer at once, but merely sipped his wine. They do not call me Tom anymore, he said. These days I am known as... I know what you are known as, said Dumbledore, smiling pleasantly. But to me, I'm afraid you will always be Tom Riddle. It is one of the irritating things about old teachers. I am afraid that they never quite forget their child's youthful beginnings. Okay, so our example is, let's make Voldemort here Tom. Okay, Tom. Okay, so our example states, let's fix this. Our example states, example is Claudius is Buddhism. So wherever I see Claudius, I can put Buddhism, and wherever I see Buddhism, you put Claudius. Okay, so Tom Riddle. He says, I am known with a different name. I am known as, and we never know, because he says as and we see the dash. We never know. So, can I rename Tom Riddle as Alice Riddle? My father is laughing. Can I name him Alice? And you are like, but this is a woman's name. Yes, I don't know what he's known as. He says, I'm not Tom anymore. I am known as Dash. He never had the chance to say how he's named, because we don't learn that. Okay, so where we see outside of speech, direct speech, the name Tom Riddle we replace with Alice. Okay, Alice Riddle. And he said, Alice Riddle said. Okay, do you want me to read it now for you, Zed? I want you to tell me I changed only one name in the story. Accordingly, I renamed Tom Riddle as Alice Riddle. Does it make sense to you when you read it? So Tom, to what do I owe the pleasure? Alice Riddle did not answer at once, but merely sipped her wine. Let's read it again because I didn't see that. So Tom, to what do I owe the pleasure? Aris Riddle did not answer at once, but merely sipped her wine. They do not call me Tom anymore, Alice Riddle said. These days I am known as... I know what you are known as, said Dumbledore, smiling pleasantly, but to me, I am afraid you will always be Tom Riddle. It is one of the irritating things about old teachers. I am afraid that they never quite forget their charge's youthful beginnings. My father says, I bow to your majesty. He's clapping. He says, Mama all. Zed, does it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you? As you hear it, does it make sense to you? Let's see now what Rowling has said about trans people. About trans people. They aren't women, they are men. Right? Right. Astounding how often militant trans activists tell the rest of us, so what you are saying is trans girls aren't real girls. Yes, that's exactly what we are saying. Girls are being robbed of honors and opportunities by mediocre, uber-privileged, establishment-enabled boys. Do you see now what I say when I say that the way that the crap that comes out of your butthole, if it comes out of your mouth, then it exposes your heart. It's your heart that directs your speech. Rowling shitted on her keyboard that day when she wrote that sentence because you see that, oh, Dumbledore doesn't want to speak and call Voldemort with his chosen name because he renounces the evil. No, he renounces his identity. He renounces his identity. He doesn't renounce the evil. He doesn't. It's Rowling being a bigot. It's Rowling there not allowing people to be their own authentic selves because she is a bigot. She's a time traveler. She's a bigot. That's what I'm saying. What did she say? Mediocre, uber-privileged, establishment-enabled boys. Joanne, if you ever watch the video, you will watch me one day. I'm sure you will because my father is putting me to do these videos. I know you will watch me one day, bestie. What you are writing there with so many words, because this is what you do in your prose, you are writing elegantly, beautifully, with a very beautiful prose. You are sitting on your keyboard, bestie. What you write there as mediocre, uber-privileged, establishment-enabled boys, that reads as malaka in Greek. You call the trans people malaka. Do you know who is the malaka, Joanne? You are the malaka because you are saying many years now in your books, and I proved this, to my ex in my video right now, that you are a bigot even before your mother that gave birth to you knew that you are a bigot. Because you can see that in your text that you are a bigot. What you say shows your heart. You didn't grow up or wake up one morning and decide to become a bigot. No, you were always a bigot. Instead of crapping in your toilet, you are crapping from your mouth. And if you want me to take back what I say when you see the video, no bestie, I'm not gonna take anything I am saying back. I prefer to pay you money since you are very poor. My father is laughing. You are very poor. You had poor upbringing, and you had like difficulty writing Harry Potter. I'm willing to pay you your expenses. Are you owing bills? Are you owing money in a council in a, I don't know, Scottish Power? You live in Scotland. If you owe money, I'm willing to pay you money, bestie. I'm willing to pay you money because you are poor, and I don't want any poor person to suffer. And because you are not a multimillionaire, you are a poor billionaire woman who wrote a very mediocre book, I want to fund your expenses as a poor billionaire. I am very compassionate as a person, okay? So, because you have like threatened people and they have taken down their supports that you are a bigot, no, I'm not gonna take mine back. I am willing to pay you a shitload of cash, a shitload of cash for what I'm saying, because my shitload will match the crap that comes out of your mouth, and I will fund all your expenses as a poor billionaire woman, and I really care about that. Like, you have problems as a woman by the trans community, and you are a poor billionaire, and I understand that it must be very difficult to have bodyguards to literally go to the supermarket, to the co-op, to buy toilet paper for when you are writing on your Twitter, not when you are not pooping when you go to the toilet, Joanne. You are pooping when you are writing on your keyboard all these comments you are making for the trans people. I'm asking you a question. If you are like Yaga, you are very vulgar. Joanne, if you had a daughter or a son that were trans, would you dare to speak like that? And if you don't know, and if you don't want to think about that, because you think like my son and my daughter would be cornered for their identity and bullied by people, because bullying exists even to this day for such people, the minorities. Would you like anybody to call your daughter and your son that identify as trans people, to call them overprivileged boys? Like, your son identifies as a woman, a Tom that identifies as Alice, okay? Would you like him, anybody at school, at society, on Twitter, calling them overprivileged son of a billionaire? Joanne, you are a disgusting, evil person. I am willing to pay you royalties for my sayings until my grandsons are dead. I'm not gonna back up what I'm saying. I'm not gonna back up. I'm a prophet. My work is to talk about people like yourself who are sitting in the keyboards and in their books instead of sitting in the toilet. Learn to sit in the toilet like every other person who is civilized enough knows to do, and stop doing that in your keyboard and your books. And I'm not gonna continue saying that this is what you are doing. Does that make any sense? Hope it does. Hope it does. Okay, Helga, why aren't you talking? I booked an appointment for massage, and the I just received uh, the the email from the woman that I'm gonna visit. I'm gonna visit this woman in my area, and she sent me my fucking email saying that she wants to see me when she will see me. She, like, all my details from my appointment, if that makes sense. So yeah, I am happy to do that, obviously. Yeah. So let's continue with the video. My father says you're gonna love the video today very much. I'm glad about that. Let's finish the story, okay?
He raised his glass as though toasting.
Voldemort, whose face remained expressionless. I am surprised you have remained here so long, said Voldemort after a short pause. I always wondered why a wizard such as yourself never wished to leave school. Well, said Dumbledore, still smiling, for wizards such as myself, there can be nothing more important than passing on ancient skills, helping hone young minds. If I remember correctly, you once saw the attraction of teaching too. I see it still, said Voldemort. I merely wondered why you, who are so often asked for advice by the Ministry, and who have twice, I think, been offered the post of Minister. 3 times at the last count, actually, said Dumbledore. But the Ministry never attracted me as a career. Again, something we have in common, I think. Dumbledore did not break the silence that stretched between them now, but waited with a look of pleasant expectancy for Voldemort to talk first. I have returned, Unless again what he once told me I was too young to have. I have come to you to ask that you permit me to return to this castle to teach. I think you must know that I have seen and done much since I left this place. I could show and tell your students things they can gain from no other wizard. Dumbledore considered Voldemort over the top of his own goblet for a while before speaking. Yes, I certainly do know that you have seen and done much since leaving us, he said quietly. Rumors of your doings have reached your old school, Tom. I should be sorry to believe half of them. Voldemort's expression remained impassive as he said, greatness inspires envy, envy engenders spite, spite spawns lies. You must know this, Dumbledore. You call it greatness, what you have been doing, do you? Asked Dumbledore delicately. Certainly, said Voldemort, and his eyes seemed to burn red. I have experimented. I have pushed the boundaries of magic further, perhaps, than they have ever been pushed. Of some kinds of magic, Dumbledore corrected him quietly. Of some. Of others, you remain, forgive me, woefully ignorant. For the first time, Voldemort smiled. It was a taut leer, an evil thing, more threatening than a look of rage. The old argument, he said softly. But nothing I have seen in the world has supported your famous pronouncements that love is more powerful than my kind of magic, Dumbledore. Perhaps you have been looking in the wrong places, suggested Dumbledore. Well then, what better place to start my fresh researches than here at Hogwarts?
When somebody asks you, you have to open the door. If you don't open the door, you are an asshole. I can't put it in a better manner. Perhaps you are looking in the wrong places. Okay, I will come here. Yes, but he wanted to make his students Death Eaters. Joanne, go fuck yourself, that's what I'm gonna say. Go fuck yourself. My father said seek and you will find. Knock the door, you will be opened. It will be open to you. Okay, that's what my father said. Your job, Joanne, is not to predict and do divination what a person will do after you do something to them. That's not your job. That's not your job to be God and predict the next movement of a person. That crosses the boundaries that God has put for this universe. Our job is to do what we have to do. Let the others have their sins. Don't have the sins of yourself. Protect your own soul. Don't care what others will do. And if you think that would be disastrous, if Dumbledore opened the door and he showed kindness, maybe Voldemort would have a change of heart. If you can't see that happening, Joanne, that doesn't have to do with the story. It has to do with your heart. It has to do with how you see the world. Your world, Joanne, is always full of misery, full of evil people, cunningness, and deception. Why? Because this is your father. You are doing your father's works and you see your father everywhere you go, Joanne. And because my father is Yahweh, I see my father everywhere I go, and that's why my works reflect my father's character. And that's why I see him everywhere I go, and I see him in the stories, I see him in the movies, I see him through the eyes of a stranger. I see him everywhere because I reflect his personality, and you reflect your father's personality, Zeus' personality. Because I read today and I didn't know that you love Iliad. Of course you love it, Joanne. Of course you do, because your father is Zeus, it's not Yahweh. Of course. My father is clapping. Of course your story couldn't go better because you can't see anything good. Like your father, the devil, who wrote the Iliad and everybody died and got a divorce in that story. You read that story, that stupid, ludicrous story, ridiculous story, demonic story, and you loved it and you said it's an amazing story because they carried the body of Patroclus. You liked the story, the friend lost the best friend that he had, and you find it amazing. Instead of saying, what the fuck am I reading here, you liked it. You scare the crap out of me, Joanne, honestly. And people like you scare the crap out of me with the way you think and you see the world. You scare me. I don't know what is wrong with all of you.
"It's a place to start my fresh researches than here at Hogwarts," said Voldemort. "Will you let me return? Will you let me share my knowledge with your students? I place myself and my talents at your disposal. I am yours to command."
That's not deception. Saruman, in the other story, listen carefully what he said in the other story, Saruman. He said, you don't use your ways well, Gandalf. You are clever, but you are associated with stupid people. Didn't he say that? And he said, you need me. Voldemort doesn't say that. He says, I am yours, my talents are at your disposal. He's giving allegiance, like Gollum gave to Frodo. He is redeemable with what he's doing. He's redeemable. Dumbledore is shutting the door at him. Because Rowling is a nasty person, she shouldn't write the story like that. I bet my crap head that because the story irritates me very much, it's like white noise in my head. I'm sure, Dad, did you tell Joanne, let's clarify this once and for all, did you tell Joanne to write the story and redeem Tom Riddle in this scene and tell him come and teach and redeem him? Did you tell her? I am sure you did. He says, why do you think I did this? Because this is what I smell. This is what I smell in the story, that you wanted her to redeem him and she used the story as a memory to justify what she did. He says, why do you think I gave her a story and she made it a memory, Helga? Because, Father, the story you gave her is a fraction. The memory is a fraction of a scene. You are about to customize the scene as an author. That's what I know from you all the times you have taught me spirituality. You have given me many scenes with Percy's, and I have customized them into the way I prefer them to be said as stories. You are given fractions and you are allowed to, as you have the free will, to customize the story. So Joanne was given this scene by you and she chose to sacrifice it to the devil. That's what I'm saying, Father. Can you confirm what I'm saying as an author? He says, yes, Helga, that's why I asked you. I wanted you to say it on camera. You are very correct. This is what happened. The story's outcome that I intended for the characters were the ones that you have in Percy's story. Desmond is Dumbledore. He is the antagonist of the protagonist who is redeemable, yes, and Perseus is Voldemort. He redeems himself through his redemption. Desmond is also redeemed because he learns to show mercy through the actions that Perseus causes, the actions of Perseus cause to other people, the harm that the actions of Perseus cause to the people around him. Sorry, my native language is Greek and I'm translating. My father, he's talking to me in Greek. That's what he says. Yeah, I can smell it. That's why I'm telling you. I can smell it. My father says you are Louis Vuitton Helga, Emma Thompson, who played Trelawney, the seer. You are her from Cruella. You say you are smelling awful. I can smell you, as she said in the movie of Cruella. I love that. That's amazing.
"I am yours to command." Dumbledore raised his eyebrows. "And what will become of those whom you command? What will happen to those who call themselves also, rumor has it, the Death Eaters?" Harry could tell that Voldemort had not expected Dumbledore to know this name. He saw Voldemort's eyes flash red again, and the slit-like nostrils flare. impression that they are more in the order of servants. You are mistaken, said Voldemort. Then, if I were to go to the Hog's Head tonight, I would not find a group of them, not Rosier, Malciber, Doorhoff, awaiting your return. Devoted friends indeed to travel this far with you on a snowy night, merely to wish you luck as you attempted to secure a teaching post. You are omniscient as ever, Dumbledore. Oh, no, merely friendly with the local barmen, said Dumbledore lightly. Now, Tom. Dumbledore set down his empty glass and drew himself up in his seat, the tips of his fingers together in a very characteristic gesture. Let us speak openly. Why have you come here tonight, surrounded by henchmen, to request a job we both know you do not want? Voldemort looked coldly surprised. A job I do not want. On the contrary, Dumbledore, I want it very much. Oh, you want to come back to Hogwarts, but you do not want to teach any more than you wanted to when you were 18. What is it you're after, Tom? Why not try an open request for once? Voldemort sneered. If you do not want to give me a job. Of course I don't, said Dumbledore, and I don't think for a moment you expected me to. Nevertheless, you came here. You asked. You must have had a purpose. Voldemort stood up. He looked less like Tom Riddle than ever, his features thick with rage. This is your final word? It is, said Dumbledore, also standing. Then we have nothing more to say to each other. No, nothing, said Dumbledore, and a great sadness filled his face. The time is long gone when I could frighten you with a burning wardrobe and force you to make repayment for your crimes. But I wish I could, Tom, I wish I could. He was sure that Voldemort's hand had twitched toward his pocket and his wand, but then the moment had passed. Voldemort had turned away, the door was closing, and he was gone.
So that's the story here. In order to finish my level, I will let the other story read. I'm not gonna analyze what I said in my Instagram today because I'm really tired with about that. But I will do that tomorrow, part 3 of the series. So let's now see the remaining of the other story that I promised I would do today. Let's do that. Let's listen to it. Just listen, and I will return to this topic tomorrow. Hopefully I will finish the level. Okay. So we continue here the story with the Gandalf.
In a commanding voice. To the amazement of the others, Saruman turned again, and as if dragged against his will, he came slowly back to the iron rail, leaning on it, breathing hard. His face was lined and shrunken. His hand clutched his heavy black staff like a claw. I did not give you leave to go, said Gandalf sternly. I have not finished.
What you are doing here, Ze, is listening to voices. You hear voices and you try to identify the one voice with the other, which voice connects with the other. So where you hear Saruman, you hear where you hear Saruman, you hear Dumbledore. Where you hear Gandalf, you hear Voldemort. Okay.
You've become a fool, Saruman, and yet pitiable. You might still have turned away from folly and evil and have been of service. But you choose to stay and gnaw the ends of your old plots. Stay, then. But I warn you, you will not easily come out again. Not unless the dark hands of the East stretch out to take you. Saruman! He cried, and his voice grew in power and authority. Behold, I am not Gandalf the Grey whom you betrayed. I am Gandalf the White who has returned from death. You have no color now, and I cast you from the Order and from the Council.
Can you see what it says? I am not the Gandalf you abandoned, you treated like that. I came from the dead. Helga, why is it so moving for you? Because this is the archetype of my father. We are discussing all these moments about my father, the person that is vilified and taken away. Zay is the Christ figure that you saw, for example, in the Caviezel movie, the Jim Caviezel movie. It's Jesus actually. It's the Christ figure. Voldemort is the Christ figure. And if you're like Helga, that's the killer. Because the story is written by a mystic and she wants you to see my father as a bad person. And who is the good person? The judgmental Dumbledore, who doesn't want the other person. When you read Voldemort, you read every person like you and me there. That's the face of my father. Where you see Yahweh, you see people. You see the face of my father rejected. If you reject Jesus, you are rejecting his people as well. If you reject whom he sends, you reject him too. Right? My father was persecuted. He didn't persecute people. Persecuting people is something that the devil is doing. Zeus is doing. Okay? And that's what she's doing there. And he says, I came from the dead. I'm not whom you cast out like that. I cast you out of the order, he says. Hear it again for what it is.
You will not easily come out again. Not unless the dark hands of the East stretch out to take you. Saruman! He cried, and his voice grew in power and authority. Behold, I am not Gandalf the Grey whom you betrayed. I am Gandalf the White who has returned from death. You have no color now, and I cast you from the Order and from the Council. He raised his hand and spoke slowly in a clear, cold voice. Saruman, your staff is broken. There was a crack, and the staff split asunder in Saruman's hand, and the head of it fell down at Gandalf's feet. Go, said Gandalf. With a cry, Saruman fell back and crawled away. At that moment, a heavy, shining thing came hurtling down from above. It glanced off the iron rail even as Saruman left it, and passing close to Gandalf's head, it smote the stair on which he stood. The rail rang and snapped. The stair cracked and splintered in glittering sparks, but the ball was unharmed. It rolled on down the steps, a globe of crystal, dark but glowing with a heart of fire. As it bounded away towards the pool, Pippin ran after it and picked it up. The murderous rogue! Cried Eomer. But Gandalf was unmoved. No, that was not thrown by Saruman, he said. Nor even at his bidding, I think. It came from a window far above, a parting shot. From Master Wormtongue, I fancy, but ill-aimed. The aim was poor, maybe, because he could not make up his mind which he hated more, you or Saruman, said Aragorn. That may be so, said Gandalf. Small comfort will those two have in their companionship. They will gnaw one another with words, but...
So I can see that this level is quite hard and it has three pieces, the one behind the other. I will continue tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, love you very much and I will see you tomorrow. Hope you contact me one day. I don't know what the fuck. Bye. My father says bye.